Hey there, fellow explorers of the strange and unusual. It's Fairhaven Webb here, and you clicked on this because you have a morbid fascination with abandoned places. There's something undeniably creepy yet captivating about places lost to time, swallowed by nature, forgotten by the world. So buckle up, grab your ghost hunting gear, because we're about to embark on a virtual tour of the top 10 creepiest abandoned places. Just remember, we're all about respecting the history and potential hauntings of these places. Sit back, relax, and let's dive into the unsettling beauty of abandoned places. Our first stop takes us to Pripyat, Ukraine, a city frozen in time. Imagine a place where everyday life came to a screeching halt. That's Pripyat, a ghost town forever scarred by the Chernobyl disaster. It's like someone hit the pause button on a bustling city, and now overgrown streets and decaying buildings whisper tales of the lives tragically interrupted. Walking through Pripyat is like stepping into a post-apocalyptic film set, except it's all too real. Schools still have children's books scattered on desks, apartments contain remnants of families who once called this place home, and the iconic Ferris wheel stands as a haunting reminder of the joy that once filled the air. It's eerie, it's unsettling, and it's a stark reminder of the power of nature and the fragility of human life. You can practically feel the weight of the tragedy in the air, the silence punctuated only by the wind whistling through broken windows and the click of your own footsteps. Now, while Pripyat is a chilling reminder of a tragic event, it's also a hotbed for paranormal activity. Some say the spirits of those who perished in the disaster still linger, unable to move on. Visitors have reported strange electronic disturbances, disembodied voices echoing through the empty streets, and even shadowy figures lurking in the dilapidated buildings. One of the most haunted spots is said to be the Pripyat hospital where first responders were treated. Legend has it, their tormented souls still wander the halls, forever replaying the horrors they witnessed. Imagine walking those corridors, the air thick with the weight of their suffering, the floorboards creaking beneath your feet. Would you dare spend a night in this ghost town, listening for whispers in the wind, hoping to catch a glimpse of the spectral residents? It takes a certain kind of courage, or maybe a touch of madness, to explore Pripyat after dark. But hey, that's what makes it so fascinating, right? Next, we travel across the globe to Hashima Island, Japan, a place with a history as fascinating as it is eerie. Once a bustling coal mining facility, Hashima, nicknamed Gunkanjima or Battleship Island for its imposing silhouette, housed thousands of workers and their families. Imagine a concrete jungle rising from the sea, a testament to industrial ambition and human resilience. For over 5 decades, life on Hashima Island was a hive of activity, a self-contained community fueled by the demand for coal. But like a flame that burns too bright, the island's prosperity was short-lived. As petroleum replaced coal as Japan's primary energy source, the mines closed, and Hashima Island was abruptly abandoned, left to the mercy of the elements. Today, its crumbling concrete structures, eroded by the relentless sea, stand as a haunting reminder of a bygone era. The once crowded apartments now echo with silence, their hollow windows staring out at the sea like vacant eyes. It's a photographer's dream and an urban explorer's paradise, a place where nature is slowly reclaiming what was once hers. Hashima Island isn't just a study in industrial decline. This place has secrets whispered on the wind. Many believe the island is haunted by miners' spirits. Visitors report an oppressive atmosphere. Some claim to hear ghostly echoes of miners' tools. Imagine standing on those deserted streets. The ghosts of Hashima Island are said to be restless. All right, coming in at number 3, we've got Centralia, Pennsylvania. You ever heard of a town being swallowed by an unquenchable fire? Well, that's Centralia's deal. It's been burning underground for almost 6 decades now. So can you visit this fiery hellscape? The answer is complicated. No law says you can't visit, but authorities aren't keen on tourists. It's not exactly welcoming. If you go, be respectful and prepared. Let's dig a little deeper, shall we? I mean, literally. Underneath those cracked roads and empty houses, there's a whole lot of nothing good going on. This inferno started back in '62, supposedly from a trash fire that got a little too close to an exposed coal vein. And it's not your average campfire, folks. We're talking about temperatures reaching over 1,000 degrees Fahrenheit. That's hot enough to melt your face off. Figuratively speaking, of course. I'm not sure we have footage of that yet. They say these coal fires can burn for centuries. Centuries! That's longer than the Roman Empire, longer than America, longer than pineapple on pizza has been a thing. It's a slow burn, sure, but an unstoppable one. So while you won't find any ghosts in Centralia, you will find a whole lot of fire and a whole lot of caution tape. And maybe, just maybe, a renewed appreciation for the ground beneath your feet. You know, the ground that's not on fire. Buckle up, buttercups. We're hopping across the pond to jolly old England. Hellingly Hospital, a name that just rolls off the tongue, right? This place has a history darker than a cup of Earl Grey left steeping for a week. Built in 1903, it quickly gained a reputation for being one of the most haunted places in England. We're talking full-blown poltergeist activity, shadow figures, and disembodied screams. Now, I know what you're thinking. Shane, you're just trying to scare us with spooky stories, and you're right, I am, but that doesn't make these stories any less creepy. Tales of visitors feeling an overwhelming sense of dread, of being touched by unseen hands. Some claim to have seen apparitions of former patients. One chilling account involves investigators hearing a body being dragged. They found nothing except a deeper sense of unease. Hellingly Hospital is not for the faint of heart. Just don't say I didn't warn you. Hold on to your lederhosen, folks, because we're heading to Germany for number 5 on our abandoned adventure. Get ready for Bielitz Heilstatten Hospital, a sprawling complex of buildings that looks like it was ripped straight out of a Gothic horror film. Constructed in the late 1800s, Bielitz Heilstatten was initially designed as a tuberculosis sanatorium. The sanatorium was quickly transformed into a military hospital during World War I. The halls that once echoed with the coughs of tuberculosis patients were now filled with the moans of wounded soldiers. If you thought things couldn't get any weirder, hold on to your hats, folks, because they do. Fast forward a few decades, and we find ourselves in the midst of World War II. And guess who decides to set up shop in Bielitz Heilstatten? That's right, none other than Adolf Hitler himself. Apparently the future Führer was wounded in battle and spent some time recuperating within these very walls. I mean, talk about adding insult to injury. It's like finding out your creepy old uncle used to crash at your grandma's house. After the war, the hospital fell under Soviet control and continued to operate until the fall of the Berlin Wall in 1989. But with the reunification of Germany, Bielitz Heilstatten was finally abandoned, left to decay and crumble like a forgotten dream. Today, the hospital stands as a haunting reminder of a tumultuous past. Its crumbling walls and overgrown courtyards whisper tales of suffering, loss, and the enduring power of time. It's a place where history and horror collide, leaving visitors both captivated and deeply unnerved. All right, folks, buckle up because we're headed to Bodie, California. This isn't your average ghost town. It's a snapshot of the Wild West frozen in time. Imagine dusty saloons with creaky doors, houses with furniture still in place. It's a bit eerie, right? Bodie is notoriously known as one of America's most haunted ghost towns. People have reported seeing shadowy figures peering from windows, disembodied voices and objects moving on their own. Bodie's history is as wild as the ghosts it supposedly houses. So if you're ever in California, take a trip to Bodie. But be warned, you might just run into more than just tumbleweeds and dust devils. You know a place is creepy when Hollywood comes knocking? Bodie's eerie atmosphere has made it a prime filming location for westerns and horror movies. Ever seen the Clint Eastwood classic High Plains Drifter? Yep, that was filmed partly in Bodie. Bodie has been featured in countless documentaries and TV shows about the paranormal. Ghost hunters, historians, and curious travelers are drawn to its desolate beauty and unsettling history. Hold on to your hats, folks. We're diving into the heart of Transylvania, Romania, to the mysterious Hoia Baciu forest. This forest has even me feeling a little uneasy. Imagine gnarled trees twisted into unnatural shapes. The air is thick with an unsettling silence. Locals say it's haunted, a gateway to another dimension. People report strange electromagnetic anomalies and missing time. Some claim to have seen UFOs or strange beings. There's something undeniably creepy about this place. Hoyabatsu affects electronic devices. Cameras malfunction, compasses spin, and batteries drain. Some believe the forest sits on a powerful electromagnetic vortex. Visitors report disorientation, nausea, and a feeling of being watched. Some claim to black out and regain consciousness hours later. Packs of wild dogs roam the area, their howls echoing through the trees. A trip to Hoyabatsu is not for the faint of heart. All right, folks, we're leaving the forest behind and heading underground, deep beneath the bustling streets of Paris, to a place that's both fascinating and macabre, the Paris catacombs. Now, I'm not talking about some dusty old cellar. I'm talking about a labyrinthine network of tunnels and chambers stacked high with the skeletal remains of over 6 million Parisians. Yeah, you heard that right, 6 million skeletons. Imagine walking through dimly lit tunnels, the walls lined with skulls stacked neatly upon each other, femurs arranged in intricate patterns. It's like something out of an Edgar Allan Poe story, but, you know, real. The history of the catacombs is as fascinating as it is grim. Back in the 18th century, Paris had a bit of an overcrowding problem, particularly in its cemeteries, so what did they do? They decided to relocate the dearly departed to these underground quarries. It wasn't just a matter of dumping the bones, though. They arranged them with a strange sense of artistry and respect, creating a subterranean ossuary that's both beautiful and unsettling. The Paris catacombs attract millions of visitors each year, but only a small section is open to the public. The tunnels stretch for miles and it's easy to get lost. Some ventured into restricted areas and were never seen again. Others whisper of darker forces at play, tales of strange occurrences, from noises to shadowy figures. Some believe spirits linger, disturbed by the living. The catacombs have an undeniably eerie atmosphere. The silence whispers of forgotten lives. If you're brave, visit the catacombs. Just bring a map, a flashlight, and maybe a friend. All right, folks, buckle up because we're heading down south to sunny Florida, but don't let the sunshine fool you. This next location has a history darker than a midnight swamp tour. The Riddle House, located in West Palm Beach, was originally a funeral parlor. Yeah, you heard that right, a funeral parlor. Already gives me the creeps, and I haven't even gotten to the good stuff. See, the house is rumored to be haunted by the spirit of Joseph Riddle, an employee of the funeral home who met an untimely demise by his own hand, they say. Poor guy hung himself in the attic, and ever since then, folks have been reporting some seriously spooky happenings. Now, the Riddle House has had its fair share of owners over the years. It's been moved, restored, and even served as a local history museum for a hot minute. But through it all, the stories of paranormal activity persist. People have reported disembodied voices, strange temperature drops, and even the feeling of being touched or pushed by unseen forces. So, let's say you're feeling brave and want to check out the Riddle House for yourself. Well, first off, good luck with that, because it's currently not open to the public for tours. However, if you do manage to finagle your way in there, here's a pro tip from yours truly. Bring a flashlight. And I'm not talking about your phone's flashlight either. We're talking a heavy-duty, industrial-strength beam of light that can cut through the darkness like a hot knife through butter. Trust me, you'll want to see what's lurking in the shadows. And speaking of shadows, keep an eye on those too. Some say that's where Joseph Riddle's spirit likes to hang out, just waiting to give unsuspecting visitors a good scare. As for safety gear, well, I'm not sure a helmet or knee pads are going to do much good against a vengeful ghost. But hey, if it makes you feel better, go for it. Just don't come crying to me when you hear a disembodied voice whispering your name in the dead of night. Get ready to add another abandoned castle to your bucket list, folks, because this next destination is a real heartbreaker. Chateau Miranda, also known as Noisy Castle, is located in Celle, Belgium. And let me tell you, this place has seen better days. I'm talking crumbling walls, overgrown vines, and an air of melancholy that could make a grown man cry. Built in the late 19th century, Chateau Miranda was once a magnificent residence for a French aristocratic family fleeing the horrors of the French Revolution. They even brought along their own personal priest, because who needs room service when you have daily sermons, right? But like all good things, the family's time at the castle eventually came to an end. After World War II, the castle was taken over by the National Railway Company of Belgium and turned into an orphanage and summer camp for sickly children. Now, I don't know about you, but orphanage in an abandoned castle doesn't exactly scream fun-filled summer vacation. Despite its grandeur, Chateau Miranda has been plagued by rumors of hauntings and paranormal activity for decades. Some say the spirits of the orphaned children still roam the halls, their laughter echoing through the empty rooms. Others claim to have seen shadowy figures lurking in the windows, their eyes glowing in the darkness. And then there are the stories of strange noises, disembodied voices, and objects moving on their own. Look, I'm not saying I believe in ghosts, but I'm not saying I don't believe in ghosts either. All I know is that there's something undeniably creepy about an abandoned castle, especially one with a history as tragic as Chateau Miranda. Sadly, Chateau Miranda was demolished in 2017 after years of neglect and vandalism. But even though the physical structure is gone, the stories and the legends live on. Who knows what secrets those crumbling walls held? What whispers of the past still linger in the air? Guess we'll just have to let our imaginations run wild on that one. Well, folks, that's it for our terrifying top 10 creepiest abandoned places you can explore. We've traveled from the radioactive ruins of Pripyat to the haunted halls of Chateau Miranda. And let me tell you, it's been a wild ride. Now, if you'll excuse me, I'm going to go sage my apartment and invest in some industrial strength nightlights. Until next time, stay spooky.